Robert Redford has always been more than just a movie star. He has been a symbol of American cinema, a director, an activist, and a dreamer. But at 87 years old, Redford has stunned the world by sharing intimate truths that reshape the way fans view his life and career, from his surprising decision to retire, to regrets about choices he made, to painful confessions about his childhood and personal tragedies. Redford has opened a window into the man behind the legend. His revelations are not just about Hollywood, but about art, family, love, and survival. And they remind us that even icons wrestle with doubt, regret, and the unrelenting passage of time. In a deeply personal conversation with his grandson Dylan, Robert Redford announced that he was stepping away from acting after more than 6 decades on screen. He explained that he wanted to conclude his career with 2 final projects: Our Souls at Night with Jane Fonda and The Old Man and The Gun alongside Casey Affleck. His grandson's interview captured more than just an announcement. It revealed the restlessness of a man who felt the pull of unfinished artistic passions. "I'm getting tired of acting," he admitted, revealing that painting and sketching had once again become his deepest sources of joy. For Redford, acting had begun to feel like a process of endless repetition, while painting gave him independence, control, and pure satisfaction. His words revealed a conflict so many artists face: the battle between the craft that made them famous and the quieter callings of their private souls. For Redford, sketching was not just an activity, but a way of reclaiming his own time. "It gives me more satisfaction because I'm not dependent on anybody," he explained. In that one statement, Redford summarized why, even at the height of fame, he longed for the solitude of his early passions. Of course, his announcement sparked a frenzy in Hollywood. Fans mourned the idea that Redford would no longer grace the screen, while critics pointed out that his legacy as a director already stood as tall as his acting career. In 1980, Redford won an Academy Award for Ordinary People, proving he could shape stories with as much power behind the camera as in front of it. But then, as if caught in his own indecision, Redford admitted that perhaps his retirement had been premature. At the premiere of The Old Man and The Gun, he confessed that it might have been a mistake to declare the film as last. His worrying was simple: by framing it as his swan song, he risked overshadowing the film itself. He didn't want audiences distracted by farewell headlines when the real focus should have been the story and the performance. This uncertainty reflected the deeper reality of Robert Redford's life. His career has never been a straight line, but a journey of change, regret, and rediscovery. Casey Affleck, his co-star in The Old Man and The Gun, described working with Redford as a dream come true. He marveled not just at Redford's skill, but at his presence, the aura of a man whose career had already shaped generations of actors and filmmakers. To Affleck and so many others, Redford was more than a colleague. He was a mentor, a symbol, and a reminder of why they fell in love with film in the first place. But Robert Redford's revelations stretch far beyond the glamour of Hollywood. He has spoken candidly about his youth, admitting that before he ever thought about acting, he was drawn into the dangerous world of a street gang. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, he searched for belonging and ended up entangled in delinquency, theft, and reckless dares. In one chilling memory, he recalled a near-fatal challenge that nearly ended his life, forcing him to realize how fragile his existence truly was. The turning point came when he was caught with stolen jewelry in the trunk of a car. His father, Charlie, stepped in to save him, shielding him from legal consequences. It was a wake-up call that forced Redford to reevaluate his path and recognize that courage wasn't about chasing danger, it was about facing reality and making better choices. Even before these brushes with the law, Redford faced struggles. As a child, at just 10 years old, he was diagnosed with polio, a disease that left him bedridden in agony. His body was weak, but his spirit survived thanks to his mother's tender care. She nursed him daily, her devotion becoming a lifeline that helped him endure both physical pain and emotional despair. It was in those moments, lying sick in bed, that Redford began to understand resilience, the lesson that would carry him through the storms of adulthood. Personal tragedy would follow him into adulthood. In 1958, Redford married Lola Van Wagenen, with whom he would share 27 years of marriage and 4 children. But their joy was shattered when their first son, Scott, died of sudden infant death syndrome at just 2 months old. The devastating loss cast a shadow over their marriage, shaping the contours of their family life and leaving an ache that never truly healed. While Redford rarely speaks in detail about the reasons behind their eventual separation, the weight of that tragedy looms silently in the background. Later, Redford would find love again with German artist Sybil Schagers, with whom he built a quieter life centered around art and shared creativity. Redford has also been refreshingly honest about his complicated feelings towards Sundance, the film festival he founded in 1978. What began as a haven for independent filmmakers grew into one of the most influential festivals in the world. Today, Sundance launches careers, attracts global talent, and draws immense crowds. But with that success has come frustration. Redford worries that the festival has lost some of its soul in the process. It's not the films, he insists. The quality is better than ever, it's the size. Park City, Utah, once a quiet mountain town filled with dreamers, now struggles under the weight of paparazzi, celebrity culture, and overcrowding. Redford jokes about the irony of a festival built to showcase independent voices becoming a red carpet playground for the glitterati. Yet, ever the problem solver, Redford has floated ideas to preserve Sundance's essence. One suggestion is restructuring the event into separate sections, narrative features in January, documentaries in February, allowing each genre to shine without suffocating under the weight of the festival's massive growth. He admits he doesn't know if the idea would work, but his willingness to rethink tradition proves his devotion to the festival's mission, giving new filmmakers a platform and keeping the spirit of independent cinema alive. For Redford, the story has always been bigger than the spotlight. His career from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to All the President's Men, from directing ordinary people to founding Sundance, has been about creating space for stories that matter. But his recent revelations remind us that behind the legend is a man who has struggled, stumbled, loved, lost, and endured. His reflections on mortality, art, regret, and renewal are not just about his life, they are about the human condition itself. Robert Redford has never been content to simply be remembered as a movie star. His legacy is woven into American culture, in the independent films he championed, the stories he brought to life, and the honesty with which he now shares his truth. Whether or not The Old Man and the Gun is truly his final film, Redford has already left an indelible mark on cinema and on generations of dreamers who followed in his footsteps. And as he spends his later years painting, sketching, and reimagining his legacy, Redford reminds us of one final truth: the real power of art lies not in the applause of others, but in the quiet satisfaction of creation itself.